bulging with charge cards and receipts, a Palm Pilot, reading glasses, a cellular phone, migraine medication, a tube of under-eye concealer touted as forgiveness in a bottle, and a huge ring of keys, some of them mysterious. Ted and Gina hang up. Elinor presses the phone to her sternum. Ted, an affair, their marriage unraveling. Run and tell him you need to talk, she tells herself, then schedule a session with the marriage counselor. This is the calm, take-care-of-business sensibility that carried Elinor through college, law school, and 15 years as an employee relations attorney at various high-tech companies in Silicon Valley. But lately, this competence has been replaced by an overwhelming urge to lie down, by an exhaustion that lingers in her bones like a flu. The malaise seemed to come on after she and Ted stopped trying to have children. They tried for a year on their own with no luck, then succumbed to 2 years of tests and treatments, including 3 intrauterine inseminations and 2 in vitro fertilizations. Elinor got pregnant once, but she miscarried early on. Still, this gave them the hope to continue. She longed for 2 boys. She loves boys. Instead, she wound up with a diagnosis of unexplained infertility, probably due to her age, the doctor explained. 20 extra pounds and hormone insanity. By the time her 40th birthday rolled around, she felt like a malfunctioning farm animal that needed to be put down. Mind if I go to a testosterone flick? Ted shouts down the hall, startling Elinor. She realizes she's just standing there, dumbfounded, holding up a stray sock. She says. Sometimes she and Ted go to the movies separately. She likes art house movies and period films, while Ted prefers shoot-'em-ups. Confront him about the affair. The sock trembles in her hand. You there? There's worry in Ted's voice. A movie? Elinor shouts back to him. Sure. Have fun. She sounds too enthusiastic, overly cheerful. Wait, she says more softly. She hears Ted's footsteps as he ambles down the hall and through the kitchen. The garage door rumbles and creaks. Do something. She drops the sock and runs down the hallway. Follow him. Heading for the garage, she remembers that her car is in the shop. She turns and crashes through the back patio doors and between the bushes to her neighbor friend Kat's house to borrow her minivan. I'll explain later, she pants, grabbing the keys from Kat. You're barefoot. Kat peers out from under a baseball cap pulled over her short black hair and points to Elinor's feet. Elinor appreciates the lack of judgment in her voice as she states this simple fact. Kat is the least judgmental person she knows. Elinor catches up with Ted at the stop sign at the end of their street. She snatches Kat's sunglasses from the visor and ducks behind the steering wheel. The car is stuffy with August heat, and she punches on the air conditioning. The Lion King plays on a little TV screen in the back of the van. Elinor can't figure out how to shut the damn thing off. It's going to be King Simba's finest fling, the animals cheer as she jabs at the buttons. Ted surprises her by turning into the parking lot of their gym. Elinor makes the turn too suddenly, thumping over the curb. A woman waiting on the sidewalk out front waves to Ted. Elinor recognizes her from her own infrequent trips to the club. The woman works there as a trainer. She's in her early 30s, slim and fit, with long, light brown hair down to her ass. An ass that Elinor envies, small, hard, and round like an apple. Sometimes the girl wears a coaster-size pin on her tight black t-shirt that says, "Ask me about the zone." Elinor pulls to the back of the lot and watches the trainer climb into Ted's car, tossing her gym bag in back. Elinor follows them onto the freeway ramp, heading south. They turn off a few exits down, then wind through an unfamiliar neighborhood. Ted pulls into a Healthy Oats grocery store and parks. The woman, Gina, this must be Gina, jumps out and does a little leap, as though she's been taken to Tiffany's. As she squeezes Ted's hand in hers, he looks around furtively. Ted, holding hands with your fling in broad daylight? Ted pulls his hand away, but Gina doesn't seem to notice. She bumps up against him as they head into the store. Elinor turns off the minivan and waits. There's a Healthy Oats in her neighborhood, too, but Elinor's only been there a few times, buying chalky protein shakes and balking at the produce prices. Maybe this would explain the flax. About a week ago, when she was fishing for an umbrella, Elinor found a 1-pound bag of pungent grain in the back seat of Ted's car. It was from the health food store where they rarely shopped. Upon closer examination, Elinor saw that the mixture was tiny honey-colored seeds, shiny and slippery through the plastic. Another bag was filled with a fine golden powder, whole ground flaxseed meal. "What are these for?" she asked Ted, setting the bags on the kitchen counter. When Ted turned from the sink and saw the bags, he flinched with surprise. His face flushed red. "It's flax," he stuttered. "Okay," Elinor laughed. "Didn't mean to pry." Sheesh, he'd reacted as though the bags were porn or cigarettes. Ted launched into an unnecessarily long explanation of how flax seeds and flaxseed meal were the healthiest way to get your grains. Flax was rich in fiber, omega-3 fats, and lignans, whatever those were. That's what Dr. Edmonds had said. If you were going to eat carbohydrates, they needed to be complex. "That sounds good," Elinor replied. "When did you see Dr. E?" Again, she didn't mean to launch a flax inquisition. She was just trying to talk to her husband. They talked so little lately. "Last week," Ted said. "While you were at the conference in Monterey?" A podiatrist, Ted had spent all of the previous week at a conference with his podiatry colleagues. But Dr. Edmonds was a GP. "On the golf course." Ted hated golf. Usually he managed to get out of it at conferences. Still, maybe he'd started playing again. And eating flax. "I'll make you some flax pancakes," Ted offered, finally turning off the water and drying his hands. "Okay," Elinor said. "Flax jacks." Her head hurt. Now the relentless honking of a car alarm makes Elinor want to drive Kat's minivan through the serene pyramid of apples and strawberries just outside the store. Call the marriage counselor, she thinks, and schedule an appointment for tomorrow. But her cell phone's at home with her wallet and shoes. She likes the cocoon of the counselor's sunny office, the oriental carpets, the shelves of books, the dust motes floating lazily through the air. When she and Ted discussed how infertility had ruined their sex life, the counselor, Dr. Brewster, nodded sympathetically and insisted this was common. When Ted lamented how the treatments made Elinor angry and distant, Dr. Brewster explained that the hormones caused these mood changes. Elinor couldn't help it. During those early months of procedures and doctor's appointments, Elinor had managed to fight off the hormone horrors. She practiced yoga and visualization, took watercolor classes. She imagined Oshkosh overalls and tiny cowboy boots. The lab evaluated the quality of their 2 embryos during the first in vitro and gave them a grade A, the best you can hope for. Elinor wanted a bumper sticker. "My embryos are grade A at Stanford Hospital." But that cycle didn't work. "Something's wrong with me," Elinor insisted. "It's not your fault," Ted replied, taking her into his arms. "I love you. Let's take a break from all this. Let's go to Paris." Elinor pushed him away. "Non, merci," she said glumly. During the second in vitro, somewhere around the 20th injection Ted gave Elinor, the hormones engulfed her. She slammed doors and snapped at him. Everything was his fault. Raining? Flat tire? Tedious meeting at work? Chalk it up to Ted. One morning, Elinor tried to smash a home pregnancy test stick with a hammer, a task that's impossible, it turns out. She whispered to the stick, "Just give me the second, pink line." Setting the stick on a paper towel, she washed her hands, then closed her eyes. She opened them. Nothing. Then she flew to the utility room, yanked the hammer out of the toolbox, returned to the bathroom, and smashed the stick. Or tried to. One swift hit did nothing. The second blow chipped the sink, but barely dented the stick. She became